Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, August 18th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, I balance my ego with my soul. Okay, we are off to an interesting week. This is an interesting week because we have some shifty energies going on. Not too much, but we do have the sun finishing up in Leo. That was fast. It's going to move into the sign of Virgo on Friday. And we also have a 0-degree new moon in Virgo late Friday evening, early Saturday, depending where you're living. But those energies are going to be interesting. And this really is ushering us into our eclipse season because the next moon after this, the full moon, will be an eclipse in the sign of Pisces. So Here we go, working on some of these eclipsey layers coming in. But for now, we're building on top of Leo. And Leo is where we bring heart energy. When I talk about Virgo, I often talk about Virgo in the wholeness, the holiness. And part of the wholeness and the holiness is connecting with more than just the mind. Virgo is ruled by Mercury and can be very mental, but it's connecting with the physical body, your spirit, your soul, and your heart. So we really want to dedicate some time to heart energy this week. That being said, I know the energy mantra brought up ego. I think a lot of times the ego gets a bad rap. And I'm not here celebrating it, but a lot of times the ego is very connected to wanting to protect us, whether it's wanting to protect our mental health, probably a lot of those layers, all of that. But sometimes we need it. Sometimes we need the ego to help us differentiate. Our soul is like, we're all one, kumbaya. And while that's true, not everyone on this planet is ready to be one and act accordingly. And so sometimes that ego energy can be important in helping us help ourselves. Support ourselves, protect ourselves. Now, the reason this is coming up is as I'm looking at the astro coming in, we have the Sun and Chiron connecting tomorrow in a trine. And both Sun in Leo and Aries energy can bring up ego energies. And so watch for that today as we're building to this trine. These energies, they're coming in to connect. And so you may have some moments. You may have some moments be like, that's my ego, and that's where my ego is not serving me. It's not serving my soul. It's not serving my higher self. And you may have some places be like, okay, I see where my ego is actually helping support and differentiate. Because we're here as individuals as well. And your individual self is important. So, paradoxical fun coming in. For Monday, we have the sun and the moon connecting early in the morning, and then the moon moving into Cancer, deep into the dark of the moon. So we may have some feels coming up for the next few days as the moon moves through the dark of the moon in Cancer. And anytime we have Cancer energy, the feels are meant to move through. In fact, we have the Chariot card. It is the awareness card in this deck, but the feels are helping you move through and discover deeper layers of you. This card is represented by the sign Cancer. So recognize that as the feels move through, that it is supportive to you. I love it when it rhymes like that. But before we have the moon in Cancer, we have the sun and moon connecting. Sun in Leo, moon in Gemini. And the sun in Leo, the moon in Gemini, these stand each other. They love each other. They support each other. They hype each other up. So you might, depending on what time you wake up, you might feel hyped when you wake up and be like, yeah, today's Monday. I'm excited. It's going to be a good day. Woo! Kind of feeling a little cheerleady. But the energy is probably going to take a bit of a nosedive before that moon shifts into Cancer. We go into that void moon state, and it just gets kind of quiet. And so if you can lend yourself a little time to the quiet, that'll be helpful. I also noticed today that my energy took a big dip. And I was like, we're not in a void moon. There's not this, there's not that. Like, why is this happening? And I looked at the astro, and Saturn has moved back to 0. Saturn's at 0 Aries. And that 0 Aries energy is also kind of putting like a damper on some of this energy. So be aware of that. Kind of double on that. Once the moon does move into Cancer, which is noon Pacific time, the first order of business is connecting to Saturn, and the second order of business is connecting to Neptune, and these are in squares. So again, we may have some feels come up. Saturn at 0 in Aries. Again, there may be some ego energies that we have to face around ourselves. We have to face maybe some of our responsibility versus our responsibility, and we may need to really, I'm just feeling a lot of check-ins with inner child energy with this, as part of that responsibility. That moon square Neptune energy, it just feels off-putting. You know, that's part of what I'm always trying to do in here, is like I get feelings of things and try to put the feelings into words. And I have a bunch of these, I call them retrograde cards, reversed cards, suppression, possibilities, fighting. Yeah, it feels, oh, what is that word? Just not lackadaisical, but like everything's a little bit meh, everything's a little bit aggro, everything's a little just blah. So the afternoon just may not be like super like I want to go throw punches, but it may not feel like, yeah, I'm feeling inspired, like how we woke up, unfortunately. So be aware of that. Now I also will mention that the moon and Mars are going to be squaring early on Tuesday morning, like 1:30 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday morning. We also might feel that. That might be a little bit more of that fighty vibe when that comes in. Hopefully most of us will be sleeping, but we might feel a little of that in sleep time. Hopefully Tuesday overall will bring a little bit more joy, but sometimes we gotta feel our way through things. We also have the Master card today, and I think this Master card is like, despite how you're feeling, can you show up for yourself, your inner child self, and support them in whatever they're feeling, and support where their spirit, soul energy is coming through, and even support where you may feel, connect, remember some building of ego, for better or for worse, because it's a little bit of both. This card from Inner Child is beautiful. It says a time to remember, and it talks about using photographs to connect to yourself, to look back on your childhood. I think that this is another one that I'd love to post for anybody who feels like doing this exercise. So I'm going to do what I did last time. I posted it on 3 places. I posted it on my Instagram stories. I posted it on my Gaia Blooming Dancing with the Cosmos Facebook page. And then for those of you who are not super into social media, I also posted it in on my Gaia Blooming YouTube channel. There's a community portion where I can post things, and I posted it there. So I think I'm going to do that with the picture, just because this might be a really helpful exercise to get pictures of yourself and really connect into those portions of your inner child. Some people really struggle with connecting to the inner child, and this can be helpful. So, like I said, eclipse is coming in. This is the time to book your eclipse reading if you would like to get going with that. The eclipses are in Virgo and Pisces, or Pisces and then Virgo, the final degree of Virgo. If you have anything at 29 degrees in your chart, you are going to feel that. The Pisces eclipse is 15 degrees Pisces, smack dab in the middle of Pisces. But you don't have to be a Pisces or a Virgo to feel it. Sagittarius, Geminis, we are going to feel those energies pretty strong too, and everybody. So, I'm going to leave that there for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and may your guiding light be strong, and know that you can trust the process. Namaste.